Hey guys, thought I'd do another quick Facebook Live talking about a subject I hear a lot is people want to have good abs. They want a good stomach. They want a flat stomach, especially with summer coming off, having to take off the shirt, having to wear the two-piece for the ladies. A lot of people want a flat stomach, but I don't know how many people are actually willing to do what it takes to get a flat stomach. And I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna BS around because if you want a flat stomach, here's what needs to happen. And I have 3 steps for this tonight of how to get a flat stomach. And some people aren't going to like these steps, but this is what it takes. And you have to decide what's more important, the flat stomach or the other stuff. So number 1 is we got to get rid of the pollution. If we're eating the wrong things, not only will it promote fat gain, but it'll also promote bloating. It'll keep our gut and our stomach kind of bloated, and it'll never have that flat look we really want it to. So things that you want to eliminate or severely minimize, I'm not saying cut them out, but if you're having them on a regular basis, forget about the flat stomach. So number 1 is going to be alcohol. I know a lot of people don't like to hear that, but alcohol is kind of like dumping sugar into your body. It's inflammatory, which means it's going to bloat your stomach up. It's going to add extra water weight. It also is toxic to the liver. The liver has to detox. The liver cannot effectively burn fat when there's alcohol in being introduced to the liver, because the liver does not work well when it's under stress. So alcohol needs to be down to one time a week maximum, and that doesn't mean go out one time a week and really whoop it up. It means a couple drinks. I haven't seen this time and time again. When you drink alcohol on a consistent basis, the weight loss comes to a dead end. When you take alcohol out, weight loss happens. So it's going to help you burn fat, and it's also going to get rid of bloat and water weight. Pop, sugar, refined sugar, not the sugar you find in fruit, but refined sugar that you take. If you're running a Caribou or some of these places and getting those treats, you definitely want to stop doing that. Sugar is inflammatory as well. Sugar spikes the blood sugar. When the blood sugar gets spiked, we raise levels of insulin. Insulin is a hormone that delivers sugar into the muscle and liver, but if we get too much insulin in our system, that will make us put fat around the midsection. Especially, that's where you start gaining weight around the midsection. Other ones you want to think about is your snacky foods, like your chips, your crackers. I don't care how healthy they tote themselves to be. These things are processed foods. Processed foods break down a lot like sugar, even though they don't say they have sugar in them. You don't want foods that break down fast. I mean, if you're sitting there at a party and you've got a bowl of apples and a bowl of pretzels, which bowl are you chomping off of and having to constantly refill? I've never seen anybody sit there and take down a bowl of apples. If there's sugar in apples, but it's natural sugar. There's no sugar in pretzels, but they're processed. They break down. You could actually put them in like your water, your mouth. You can see how fast they break down. Stuff that breaks down fast raises up your blood sugar, which is going to lead you to eat more than you should, and it's going to raise your insulin levels, which is going to promote fat sticking to you like a sponge around the midsection. Other things you want to be mindful of is, not everybody's running around celiac, but I would say most people probably should just avoid gluten. If you're serious about a flat stomach, get the wheat out of the system. The wheat is poorly made. It's synthetic. It's hard for your body to absorb. So when it's hard to absorb, it can cause bloating, gas. It burns like a wet log on the fire. And the same could be said about most dairy products. Now, I know some women struggle to get protein in, and they need to get that protein. If you do that, stick with your plain Greek yogurt. It's high in protein. There's no fake fruit in there, which is another form of refined sugar. Also, stay away from a lot of the cheeses, the milks, a lot of those things, even like the frozen yogurts that are still called healthy, usually have a lot of sugar in them. But I would stick with the cottage cheese and plain Greek yogurt. That would be my 2. Maybe a little gorgonzola or feta if you want to throw it on your salad, but really kind of keep the dairy down. You probably know if you're sensitive to dairy or not, but once again, kind of like wheat, because a lot of the dairy is very commercially made. A lot of the way they pasteurize it makes it hard for your body to absorb it and digest. And if it doesn't absorb and digest well, it's going to bloat you up, thus not having the flat stomach. Things you want to emphasize are water. A lot of people, I look at a lot of fitness journals, and people just forget about the value of water. When I drink more water, I will actually flush out a lot of the junk in my body, and it'll actually help me digest things better, move things through my digestive system. When I'm not drinking a lot of water, basically literally going to have a backup in my digestive tract, making my stomach look more bloated. Plus, water helps the body function everywhere. It helps the liver and the kidneys do a better job with the fat metabolism. So water is huge because it'll flush out excess water weight under the skin, and that makes your skin look tighter. That makes you look more toned. Vegetables also, people have a really hard time with this, but vegetables can kind of scrub that digestive tract out. A lot of people really sell these short, especially your cruciferous vegetables, your broccoli, your cauliflowers. Those are going to be key. Start putting those in your diet, guys. That'll help scrub out your digestive system. And I would also put in some probiotics. I would take them. I recommend supplementing them in, and then also looking at doing some fermented foods like sauerkraut, pickles. If you're like an Asian food stand, miso soup, try to get some of those fermented foods in your diet, because probiotics will actually help your body absorb the good stuff and get rid of the bad stuff. So you can get some in food, but I would actually recommend taking a supplement first thing in the morning before you eat. Other things to think about lowering when you're trying to get a flat stomach is salt. Too much salt will make you hold water. So look at if you're eating out a lot, if you're eating a lot of things out of packages and cans, high sodium. Even a lot of the, when you buy like chicken breasts and they're pre-seasoned, check the sodium content. Keep your sodium between 2,000 and 2,500. If you get over that, you're going to start to notice you're probably going to feel a little bit thicker, a little bit carrying a little bit more water. If you get under that, that's not good for your metabolism. So staying in that range is going to be key. And then carbs. Now, carbs are not evil. Let me preface that with carbs are not the devil like everybody thinks they are. The problem is we just take too many of the carbs in at the wrong time, and people are just not that active. So carbs are good, but the best time to take your carbs is before and after your workout, when you're most active during the day. Your body's going to use those carbs for energy and for replenishment, and that's going to be the best time to take your carbs, and not 9 o'clock at night before you go to bed, which a lot of people do. So carbs are on your most active time of day. Karen Turasaki, good to see you on here. I would recommend my Advocare brand. That is an awesome brand. I've had clients use other brands. If you want some of that, you can definitely hit me up. I can get you some, but it seems to be a really, really good brand. I would not recommend everything off the shelf. Otherwise, other things you could look at is if you have a chiropractor. I know you've worked at Life Wellness Center. The Metagenics, the stuff like that, that's a little more higher grade, pharmaceutical grade, is going to be better. But if you want some Advocare, I would highly recommend that. That's what we use in our family here for a probiotic brand. Let me move on to number 2. Number 2 is dial in your macros and track them tightly. A lot of people, if you would have your bank account, if you didn't pay attention how much money is in your bank account, you would have a hard time knowing how much you had left in your account. You might overdraw your account, right? But a lot of people treat their nutrition this way. They think they're eating enough calories or eating fewer calories, but they're really not. And you really have to get tight with your macronutrients. And I'm talking fats, proteins, and carbohydrates. And what I would do is I would use the MyFitnessPal app. I would set your calories to start at your body weight times 12. A lot of people, and that's a good place. That doesn't mean that's going to be a gold standard, but that's a good place to start. And set your calories at that. And then in FitnessPal, you can set it up to have 40% carbohydrate, 30% protein, 30% fat. Start with those macronutrients and hit those targets. And what I would recommend is proactively using MyFitnessPal and pre-entering your day and adjusting your serving sizes and your foods till you hit close to your macronutrient targets. That is very helpful. I have clients do that instead of trying to just enter your day as you eat it. Then all of a sudden you're at 6 o'clock at night and you're way under calories or you're way over calories by lunchtime. So being proactive, if you really want that flat stomach, nutrition is where it's going to happen. And you want to get on that MyFitnessPal, if you have another app, and dial in 12 times your body weight. And it should be a good app like MyFitnessPal should be able to set it to 40% carbohydrate, 30% protein, 30% fat. Hit those macronutrients. And then when you hit those, monitor your weight, how your clothes feel, see if things start to change. If you don't get any change, it doesn't mean all of a sudden go crazy and make a knee-jerk decision. Drop about 25 grams off your carbohydrate. Keep your protein and fat steady, but drop 25 grams off your carbohydrate. Just 25 grams, that's 100 calories, and see if things start to move. That's a good place to start, but you want to monitor this closely. Not that I believe everything the scale says. It's going to fluctuate a little bit, but generally do you see that scale weight starting to go down, maybe a pound a week. A pound and a half a week. That's good. That's where you want to be. So water weight will fluctuate depending on what you eat that day, but start to monitor that and start to look at how do your clothes feel. Everybody kind of knows when they're getting more, their clothes are getting a little tighter. They're having to increase their belt loops. So monitor that with your macronutrition. So that's where I would start with my macros. Finally, step 3, you got to exercise. I don't care about eating. If you eat healthy and you sit on your ass all day, guess what? You're not creating a calorie deficit. You got to create a deficit of calories. Your body has to be in deficit to make it have to go in and get extra energy in the reserves. The reserves is your fat stores. So if you're not moving your body, it's going to be very, very hard to get ripped and get that flat stomach you want. So What I like to do is I like to use my Fitbit, and I'm getting ready. Actually, it's kind of funny. I'm a little bit extreme, but I'm getting ready for a physique show. But one of the things, the guy I have helping me put my plan together, he has me set a calorie goal. I mean, definitely want to set a steps goal. A lot of people just use the steps goal. 10,000 steps a day should be mandatory. Get off your butt and move. Don't just sit all day and work out a half-hour day and expect your body to look better. So 10,000 steps a day, but set a calorie goal. And I'm going to give you a number to start with. Is 3 to 4 times a week, I want you to burn 250 calories. And I want that to be, it can be through whatever type of activity you want to do. But I would recommend at least 2 of those exercise days or strength days, because I've said in previous webinars, Facebook Lives, strength training is what changes the way your body looks. If you're a pear shape and you just do cardio, you're just going to become a smaller pear shape. So strength training is where it's at. And you can do strength training with a cardio aspect, metabolic strength training. That's what we do at our studio. You move from thing to thing to thing. It keeps the intensity up. It jacks up your fat burning hormones, and it burns calories. Okay, we're not talking about doing a set of bench press and sitting around and picking your nose for 2 minutes. We mean bench press, push-ups, whatever. Move to squats, move to pull downs or pull-ups, moving, big muscle groups. Mix it in some HIIT, like some burpees, some jump rope, things like that. That's a really good way to do it. But burning at least 250 calories 3 to 5 times a week, combined with cracking those macros, and then looking what's happening on the scale, what's happening with your clothes. And if you start to see things move, you're good. If things slow down, you can, like I said, you can decrease your carbs by about 25 grams and increase your calorie burn by 100 calories. So go from 250 to 350 calories and see if something happens. Just making those little adjustments, not knee-jerk reactions, but little adjustments, and then monitoring them. So a lot of people say they want a flat stomach, they want a washboard, whatever it is. I'm going to tell you right now, it's freaking hard work and it takes some discipline. So if you want that, you got to decide some of these other things aren't as important. If having the happy hour every night is more important, that's cool. But don't say you want to have a flat stomach and then bitch and moan because you're drinking every night and you're not unwilling to give that up. To get something, you have to give something up. So you have to dial in the discipline. And I'm not saying you never have alcohol, you never have a treat, but I'm saying at least 6. I would say, really, to be honest, if you guys want that flat stomach, if you want that stomach that people, that you see in like on posters or maybe on social media, you have to be solid at least 6 days out of 7 of the week. All right. You have to be disciplined. And a lot of times people, when they tell me they eat good and I start looking at their food, it's 50% at best. And what's 50% on a test? It's failing. So 80-20 will get you some results, but 6 out of 7 days, rocking solid, that's where you want to be. So that's what I would focus on, is get those, those 3 steps right there will get you the flat stomach. So decide if you're willing to go there. And here's my offer to you. Anybody who wants, you can send me a personal message. I will set up your Fitness Pal. I will set you a nutrition plan that you can do to get that flat stomach, and an exercise plan as well. And I would recommend, if you feel like you're bloated, your stomach's off, is doing our 10-day cleanse program, 45-86, 10 days. Get your stomach lined up, your digestive tract lined up. Get your blood sugar balanced. You're not craving all the crap. And definitely you'll see some weight loss. It's not going to be all fat. It's going to be some of the junk that comes out of your system, but it's very easy. You eat real food and you get coaching on top of it. So I would recommend the 10-day herbal cleanse if you're kind of stuck and you need something to push things loose, need some accountability, need some coaching. Hit me up on a personal message. But hopefully this was helpful, and I'll be doing more of these because our theme right now is summer bodies are made in the spring. So right now is the time to start. Don't sit there at the end of May and start to lament because you didn't do the work now to get the results you wanted then. So now's the time to start. You got to start pumping now like a pump so the water flows out the other end in June. So hit me up for that. Also, if you're more serious, we have a Transform in 12 online training program. If you don't live here in Minnesota and you're not close, that's an awesome program you can do at your gym or your home gym. That's another program that we just had a taker from a Facebook Live the other night. Jump on for that. So that's it. Hopefully you guys got something out of this. Get that flat stomach. Decide what's more important. But these are some solid tips. And definitely with any questions, hit me up on Facebook. Hopefully you enjoy this, guys. Have a good night.